OREIO for the first meeting of the next fiscal year. So welcome everyone. We've got a very special night this evening, and we've got an action-packed agenda. We'll start with our usual disclaimer, if you could, Justin. So the purpose of OREIO is education first and foremost. We're here for you, the real estate investor community, and we provide resources, we provide education. Increasingly, we will provide political representation and lobbying of City Council to provide the right kinds of legislation that really favors the investor community. As always, OREIO doesn't endorse anything that is said here on stage. You have to do your due diligence no matter what you do in life. It's no different here. So whatever you hear on stage is for your education only, and any deal that's presented to you, you've got to be responsible for your own due diligence, whether it's here or online. That's just a good practice. Okay? Let's start with introducing a few of the new members of the executive. We had our very exciting nail-biting election at the last meeting. We have a few new members of the executive who were appointed by the executive. So we'll introduce those members. We have Victor Menasce in publicity. We have Jean Ouellette, who ran for VP, but he's taken the role of secretary. And we have returning again this year, Scott Temple is the role of speaker coordinator. We've got a lot of exciting stuff in store for you this year. Our new executive decided that we wanted to make some significant improvements to the experience for all of you this coming year. So I wanted to go through a few of the initiatives that we've got coming up for you. First and foremost, we decided as an executive team that we wanted to be held accountable. And what does that mean? So we decided to come up with some metrics. Let's see if we can measure, are we actually doing a good job? So you will start to see, in fact, for those of you that have a ballot this evening, you'll see that we'll be voting on something. You'll be asked to provide some information, and we'll also be conducting some surveys online for you to provide information. And don't think that we're asking you to disclose a lot of personal stuff, but one of the things we want to measure is collectively, this whole group of people, and the entire membership, how much real estate do we own collectively? Nobody really knows. And we'd like to measure that on a regular basis and see, are we actually making progress as a group? So I'd like to see the collective portfolio of OREIO members growing over the course of the year. That's one of the measures that we're going to use to see, are we actually making progress? Second thing is we're going to be incorporating as a nonprofit. There have been some new regulations governing nonprofits. OREIO has been operating as an informal club since its inception, and so we will be incorporating formally as a nonprofit. You can look for news about that in the fall, so that's coming up. Third, we're very focused on quality of speakers. Tonight, I think you're going to see that, and some of the speakers that we have coming up for you in the coming months, I think you're going to be very impressed with. We're focusing very hard on getting quality here in the room so that you get the maximum value from your membership in OREIO. You may have noticed as members that you're starting to get a lot of people clamoring for your attention, whether it's to join other organizations, to buy products. This is the #1 Real Estate Investors Association in Canada. We were awarded that distinction a couple of months ago, and this is a fantastic group. It really is a fantastic group. So there are a lot of folks that actually want to sell to you. Now, I know nobody wants to be sold to, but we want to provide a mechanism to do that. So you're going to start to see new features on the website for members or for sponsors to market to you directly on through the website and here at meetings. We do have sponsors now that provide a sponsorship message, but we'll also be doing a little bit more of that as a revenue generating feature for OREIO. Put your hand up if you registered for tonight's meeting on Eventbrite. Awesome, fabulous. Okay, that's working. So, no, that's really good news. It's an efficient way to register. We will in the future have a way to scan electronically your admission ticket, and that'll make the process of getting in the room real quick. And it'll also make just management of all the facilities really that much easier. You will have noticed as well that we've been communicating with you much more effectively by email. How many of you clicked on the email that you got to go to Eventbrite? You can put up your hand. All right, that's perfect. So that's working as well. So we'll be communicating with you a lot more frequently. We're not going to spam you, don't worry, but communicating with you about things that are relevant, that are topical to OREIO through email, and we have that system set up and working now. We're adding a new feature to the monthly meeting, and that's something called a market update. So we will have every month someone from the realtor community coming up on stage and give you a market update, talking about some of the statistics in the marketplace, what's happening. But it's not just to recite the numbers. You can go on the web and you can figure that out yourself. It's got to be a little bit more interpretive. So, what do the numbers mean? So tonight we've got Kwesi Bourne talking to us about the numbers, and in particular he's going to focus on a couple of markets that are just outside of Ottawa. And then finally, we have a new feature that we'll be introducing in the fall time. I know I've heard from many of you that access to capital is an issue. So we will be inviting to OREIO lenders who you will get to meet and interact with. But more importantly, you'll have the opportunity to pitch your deals to them and get their feedback real time, kind of like Dragon's Den or Shark Tank. I think that's going to be extremely valuable to you to get that feedback in real time, and to see how the lenders think, how they interact, what is it that matters to them, and I think that's going to be extremely valuable. So those are some of the things. Oh, I forgot something very important. And then the final feature that we're adding this year is something we're calling special interest groups. So in the big forum like this, we don't really have the opportunity to do a deep dive on a very specific topic. Like, we can't do a deep dive on property management or a deep dive on infill development. But I know that there are a number of you in the room that are interested in these topics and going deeper in that. So the ballot that you have with you, the members have with you, has a list of topics. And we're going to collect the input that you give us tonight, and we'll select the top 4. And we'll start running with those 4 special interest groups. They will run on a different night than the main group, and the special interest groups will organize themselves to figure out exactly when to meet. And it doesn't have to be 150 people. If it's 20 or 30 people that are interested in rent-to-own or interested in multi-unit apartment buildings, whatever that special interest group is, that's just fine. But you'll be able to do a much deeper dive on those specific topics. Okay? So that's some of what we have in store for you for this year. Very excited about it. I know the executive team are working extremely well together. I'm very delighted with what we've been able to accomplish so far in our first 30 days together. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sylv, who will introduce our sponsor for this evening.
Are you leaving that, or?
No, I'll have to give you this one, unfortunately. This is the only one we have.
Good evening, everybody. Those of you who don't know me, Sylv Mino, VP of OREIO, and tonight I'm going to introduce you to Matt Doherty from 3D Property Management. And come on up, Matt. Get Justin to bring those slides up. All right.
This is working, right? Okay. Justin, I won't bother with the clicker thing. Can everybody hear me in the back of the room and everything like that? Yes? Okay, great. My name is Matt Doherty. I came here from St. John, New Brunswick to tell you a little story. Before I tell the story, I want to thank both the current and previous executive of OREIO for giving me this opportunity. In a marketplace like St. John, I've never seen 200, 300 investors in one room. It just doesn't happen. So having you all here is just amazing. I'm very excited to be here. I'm a little bit nervous. I've never been the warm-up act for a 12-year-old millionaire. So it's definitely going to be interesting. So the story of St. John, New Brunswick, it's Canada's oldest incorporated city. We're on the east coast of Canada in obviously New Brunswick. And we were incorporated in 1778. We have a very storied history, lots of amazing architecture. It's the largest city in New Brunswick. It's the economic driver of New Brunswick. Recently, over the past 10, 15 years, we've had a bit of an economic slump. We've had a fair amount of unemployment. We've had some large employers lay off lots of people. So the story that I'm painting today is relatively bleak, with high unemployment, really high vacancy rates. As a property manager, obviously I manage multi-use buildings, and we have in the city a 12% vacancy rate. So when you hear stories of the Calgary and the Ottawas of the world where they're at 1% vacancy, we're sort of on the other side of the spectrum. Okay, so 12% vacancy rate, you can imagine what that does to the value of buildings. But with St. John, there's a lot of really interesting things coming down the pipe. Just like there's Energy East Pipeline. You might have heard about that. So with where St. John is right now, we are the emerging market of Canada as far as I'm concerned. So smart investors know you go in and you buy at a low price and you watch the market come up. Now I know that OREIO is getting involved and sort of coming up with some sort of group with REIN. They're being involved with REIN. I'm a REIN member. I think I might be the only one in New Brunswick that's a member of REIN. But Don Campbell, I'm a student of Don Campbell now. He's a brilliant, brilliant man. And he always says, look for the economic fundamentals. Go, Justin. So the economic fundamentals of St. John, there has been an increase in population. The two main economic fundamentals where you're getting into the beginning of a rise is population and GDP growth. So the population of St. John has been increasing. The greater St. John area, I'm from Chris Van Sis. That's a really nice area. It's a beautiful little community. Anyway, you're familiar with it. Anyway, so the population economical, the economic fundamentals for population is on the rise. There's lots of really good things coming down the pipe. Justin. Some really high level things. The Energy East Pipeline. Okay, finally Alberta will have a way to get their oil to deep water so it can trade on the open market and increase the amount of money that Alberta makes. So it really behooves them to get it to a deep water port like St. John. So the Energy East Pipeline is going to St. John. They're not building another refinery, but they will be refining some. They'll be putting a lot on a boat. But this is a huge economic driver that will be probably 3, 4, 5 years out. Another thing, a marine terminal. They're going to be exporting a lot of oil. There's a lot of spin-offs from that. Atlantic potash. Potash, as you know, is used in fertilizer, the consumption of food and growing food, the more efficient you can make it. There's really good markets for fertilizer across the world. Again, deep water port. This is some really good things that are happening. We're looking at creating a processing plant there. Fundy Key is a $100 million waterfront development. The geography of St. John, there's an uptown core right around the harbor. So it's really beautiful, but it's old and it needs a lot of revitalization. And there's also little things like a $30 million seniors complex. I'm sure in Ottawa, $30 million seniors complex is nothing, but in a place like St. John, that's a pretty big deal. So the story I'm trying to tell you is that right now, St. John is at the bottom of the market. CMHC rates St. John as the worst CMA at 12% vacancy, but we are totally on the rise. So I just want you, when you're looking at where you want to invest, give me a call, have a discussion before you buy. I can tell you what neighborhoods to avoid. I can tell you where to look, where not to look. Before you spend your money, consider me part of your due diligence, okay? Because my goal as a property manager, you're going to need somebody to manage your properties. I want a long relationship with you, so that means I have to be honest right from the get-go. A real estate agent, they want to make a sale. I want to make a relationship. And that's basically why I came here. I'm fascinated by having so many people in a room, and I just want to thank you. Sorry. I want to thank you very much for your time. And if you have any further questions, please drop by and ask me anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. Just so you guys know, so that's a sponsor. If anybody's looking to be a sponsor, come see me during the break, the guy with the yellow coat. Or you can send an email at vp@oreo.org. And I'm just going to back up, I think I get a little feedback there. Essentially, you get your 5-minute spotlight, you get your table at the back, you also get postings on the websites and emails going out to the group. Okay, and that's all that for $2.95. It's a really good deal. And I'm going to bring Scott up.
Good evening. My name is Scott Temple. I'm the speaker coordinator for OREIO. And when I first found out, when Victor told me that Ryan Ross was coming, I Googled his name and I clicked on the first one. I was pretty excited because I heard a little something and I thought, okay, I want to find out. So I clicked on the first one under Ryan Ross and I thought, wow, there's a rock star coming. He's on tour and he's coming to Ottawa. So I stopped and I thought, well, what's the correlation between that and real estate? Like, what's he going to talk about? And I didn't think too long about it. I went back and I found the real Ryan Ross. So the real Ryan Ross made his first $1 million by the age of 7. The real Ryan Ross, they call Tiny Trump, and rightfully so. It's actually a compliment to Donald Trump, I think. Thank you. One last. Favorite. So Ryan Ross is here tonight. He's a Canadian investor, philanthropist, and public speaker, professional public speaker. He's the Ryan Ross that today, he's 12 years old. He's come all the way from Vancouver just to speak with us this evening. And we want to welcome Ryan to the stage. He's going to tell us about eggs and real estate and all sorts of wonderful things. Please welcome Ryan Ross. Can you hear the back?
No.
Perfect.
Imagine waking up in the morning to the sound of your mother crying in the other room. You can almost hear the teardrops as they hit the floor. I was only 3 years old. What was I to do? And what would you have done? Well, my name's Ryan Ross, and the media has dubbed me as Tiny Trump. And although it's an honor to be compared with such an epic leader, the truth is, I'm just a normal person like all of you. And I don't have any superpowers. We all come equipped with imaginations, goals, dreams, and ideas. The difference is I took action. I remember that day so clearly, as if it just happened yesterday. Some things make such a huge impact in your life that they stick with you forever. I heard my mom on the phone, and she was talking to this person, and she said that we were going to lose our house, and we didn't have enough money to pay for food or the medical bills that were keeping my little brother alive. The doctor told my mom that he wasn't going to live another day, and I was really scared. It just wasn't fair. People say that money can't buy happiness, but imagine all the little starving children in Africa. Maybe money can buy them some food and put a smile on their face. Or how about a single mom that has to work 3 jobs just to pay the rent? Maybe if she had some money, she could spend time with her children. Or how about a village that has no access to clean water or any life-saving vaccines? Maybe money could bring them hope and joy. We needed money to pay for our house, the medical bills, and to keep the food on the table. I know money can't buy happiness, but it sure makes life a whole lot easier. I was really scared that my brother was going to die, and I was just worried, and I didn't want him to go. I was so sad, and I ran into the grass in my backyard, and I threw myself down. And I cried and cried. It just wasn't fair. I felt like I had already lost my mom, and I was going to lose my little brother now too. I knew that the only one that could help me was God. So I made a deal with him, that if he could save my brother's life, I promised I'd pay him back. What you have to understand here is that I knew he was the only possible way that he could help. It was not logical that Ethan was going to live. He was supposed to be dead the next morning. But I knew that if I could make a miracle happen, then Ethan could stay alive. And I knew that I needed to find a way to pay him back. People give me all kinds of excuses for why they can't start a business. They don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, they're too young, they're too old, they're too this, they're too that. But you have to understand that I was only 3 years old, and I didn't know what an excuse was. And I had absolutely zero concept of money. The only thing I remembered about money was that every time that I went to church, Mr. Stevens would come with a big box full of fine fresh eggs, and he'd leave with a pocket full of money. I heard my mom calling for me, and I didn't want to give her any more reason to worry. So I got up and I ran towards the house. And then I got the best idea ever. So you see, there's an old abandoned chicken coop in my backyard, and I immediately ran into my bedroom and dumped my piggy bank on my bed. I had $35 from last year's birthday money. I went over to Mr. Stevens' house and asked him if he could help me. So he helped me get some starter food and some wood chips for the laying boxes. And in the end, I had enough money left over to buy 12-day-old chips. I was off to the races. I was making lots of money with these little chickens, and it doesn't take too much space and time to raise things the size of your palm. And it was also a fun little business, and I got to raise some pretty beautiful birds. The thing is, though, I learned a lot about leveraging and all that, because before you can doubt, though, that a 3-year-old can understand leveraging, it seems that the concept is so simple that even chickens can understand it. Because one day when I went out to go collect all those eggs, those 12 chickens turned into 19. And in no time at all, I had 56 laying hens. And quickly as I started my second business, I was selling rabbit meat, I learned that there's another creature that understands leveraging like no other. And I also had a really great math teacher because they sure know how to multiply. It was fun raising these rabbits. I know that they had to go, but and I knew it was for a good cause, but it's just fun to see it was fun to learn and to grow mature and to learn the ways of life and making money at only such a young age. And it was just a very enjoyable and good learning process. After I was done my business chores like feeding the rabbits and getting the eggs, I'd bring my little red wagon around all around my backyard and I'd pick up all the golf balls so they wouldn't damage the lawnmower. We lived right behind a driving range, so there was hundreds of golf balls in our backyard. My mom paid me $5 a week to do it, so I didn't mind because it only added more money onto my stash. I didn't know what I was going to do with all these golf balls, and my family didn't even play golf. And the shed was so full with all these golf balls. I had like thousands, but I didn't know what to do. It turns out that my neighbor's lawn, mower, came over to our house and he heard me talking to my mom about this, and he told me that you can sell them all back to the driving range for 5 cents a piece. Boom, I got another $1,000 in the pile. I learned a whole lot about business that year, but my proudest day came when I was 4. Ethan was released from quarantine, and I got to bring him to see all the animals. He was just so excited to collect all the eggs and feed the chickens. He really wanted to pet them. They were more interested in poking at his diaper. I knew he would be excited when he saw the rabbits, and boy was I right. He was petting them through the cages, and I guess when I went to get the feed, he decided it would be a good idea to cuddle all those little fur balls. And for the rest of the morning, Ethan waved to me from the kitchen window as I caught every last rabbit that escaped. Every time I hear my brother giggle, I remember that day. Where was I? Right. It was all adding up really quick, especially once I started working at the farmer's market. I was selling things like my eggs, my rabbits, buffalo burgers, smoothies, yogurt, whatever I could sell. And I'd be bringing in $1,000 week after week. It was a fun little business venture as well. I got to learn about sales, I got to meet really cool people, and I got to find out really cool ideas of what they're selling. It could be food, it could be furniture, whatever they would like to make and sell. And it was a cool little project to do. I knew that after a while, it was time to pay up. I went over to Mom with my shoebox full of money, and I asked her, "Can you mail this to God for me?" And she really wanted to know what was in the box, so I had to tell her about the deal I made with God. And you know what's weird though? Women, they cry. They cry when they're happy, and they're sad, and they're angry, and they're excited, and they're scared. Well, it turns out that they even cry more when they're proud of their children. But my mom taught me the most important lesson that day. She told me that you can't pay God back with money. You have to pay him back with kindness. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, I made all this money and now I don't know what to do with it because my goal was to pay back God, right? So I took that money and I thought to myself, and you remember all those medical bills my mom had to pay? Well, she paid them all off by investing in real estate. She was really honest on that. So I took my $32,000 I had in my shoebox and I bought my first apartment building. Over 73 million people have AIDS. HIV or AIDS. A toddler dies every 5 seconds from thirst or hunger. 2% of North Americans' children are homeless. And 5 children in the U.S. die every day because of child abuse. I had no clue what I was going to do. My main goal at the time was to raise enough money and to find out what I was passionate about. I know that my main accomplishment so far was to save my brother because he was terminally ill and he was in his deathbed, you could say. He was supposed to be dead in the morning, like I said. But I knew that I was going to pay God back. He honored his end, and that was my end. My turn to finish up the deal. So there's my fourplex. It's 9 years old. It's got 3 bedrooms in each apartment. It's a nice little place. It's right next to a school. It's got everything you need. And I'd be renting that place out. But it was a whole lot for me to manage by myself. And I'm only 5 years old. It's hard to manage. It's hard to clean out my own bedroom. And then I got a whole building to manage. But it actually turns out that I was the first 5-year-old to ever buy an apartment building. And I was just so like happy and determined and like relieved almost. Like I just felt like I had accomplished something giant inside, and I knew that this was going to help lead to changing the world, which is my main goal in life. And so since I was the first 5-year-old to buy an apartment building, I was all over news, TV, magazines, books, and it was exciting. And I was doing radio shows a lot, and a lot of stuff was going on. It was crazy, but it was fun. It was fun to know that what I was doing was helping me, it was teaching others, and it was going to honor me helping my brother through God and giving back. And I knew that with this money I could make a good feeling in myself and make an impact in the world and save my end of the deal with God. But with my property here, like I said, I'm only 5 years old, right? So I can't manage this whole thing. So I paid this dude named Clark to do it for me. And he'd be managing my properties, and it was all about delegating, really. It was simple though. I just had this guy and he'd help me. And I'd pay him, and it was just nice and easy because I had income coming in, and then I could be paying him as one of my expenses, and then I could be making a little bit less cash flow, but then I have someone else to do all the work for me. And I'm not doing as much time work, and then I can focus my other work on reinvesting and finding other things to do to make more money in my business. I knew that what I was doing was going to take a little while though, and I knew that it wasn't going to be all simple and just like lying down and just having fun with it. I knew that there was going to be some rough times. And it's not that easy doing all of this, but it's possible and it's very doable. And you just have to have your inspiration inside, like I did. What's more inspiring and to get you started than your brother? Your little brother is dying. You don't have another day to live. That got me right up, and I just went right away. And I got as much done as I could. And well, my brother's still alive right now. I don't know where he is, but he's 10 years old now. Years and a few months now that he's been alive ever since the doctor said it was impossible that he'd ever see Christmas. And I just feel like I just changed my family and I changed so much. And I know that I wouldn't get the same me if that didn't happen. I assigned Clark to do a bunch of different work. I got him to do some snow removal and some lawn mowing. And because of all the work I hired Clark to do, he was eventually able to bring his daughter and his wife over from the Philippines. And you can't imagine how great I felt to have such a huge impact in their lives. He'd be getting the work done hourly, right? So I'd give him my shovel and he'd go do the work. And I'd be making money and he'd be making money. And I'd just be able, what I'd have to do is I'd have to call them up or do the advertising, plan the contract, and get him to go do it. And what happens normally is if you do a good job, then they're going to want it again, and again, and again, and again, because the grass just doesn't stop growing. And where I lived, it snowed, like, that high every winter. It was crazy. So he'd just keep getting the work done, and it was doing really good. Really good business, really good work, and making a really good profit. So who likes free stuff here? Okay. So I'm currently publishing 3 books right now. I've got my 7x7, which means 7 digits, or whatever you're going to call them, because there's 7 digits in a million, by 7 years old. Then I've got 12x12, 12 tips of success, since I was 12 years old. And then I got Food for the Body, Mind, and Soul, which is for, like, it's healthy food, which is yummy, and which will not necessarily inspire you, but it's got like the layout of the book. It's got like the guy here, or the guy or the girl here, and they write about themselves and how they want to change the world, and then it's got their recipe over here. So you can just read through as you go, and you can make, let's say you like this dude named Chef Bruno, okay? Let's say you're a super fan of his, and wouldn't it be fun if you could be eating his meals every day? Eating like Chef Bruno, living like Chef Bruno, and you can just change your life to however many people you'd like to change your life with. I think it's next week. Me and my mom are going to be doing a webinar, which you can go on my website for, and it's about property management, which will be good. So we're going to be having that, I think, next week, and it will be on the telephone, I think, and it will be on my website. You'll probably be able to find information there. Oh, my website, okay. I'm going to need to know that. Okay, so my website is tinytrump.com. So no spaces, no capitals, and that's my website. So, does everyone here know what OPM stands for? Other people's money, right? Okay, so ROI is return on investment. So let's say me and my brother each have 20 grand, and we're going into a vehicle that will give us 10% return. So Ethan's going to go into a cookie business. He's going to buy his ingredients, get whatever ingredients he wants, gets his different cookies in, and he can start selling his business. And keep taking as much as he wants down from his 20,000 right up here. And then, I guess, well, if you look at it, what's 10% of 20,000? It's 2,000. Well, he's going to be making $2,000 each time because it's 10% on his investment. Now I'm gonna go to the bank and say I'm gonna go get a $100,000 property, and I've got 20%, and they're gonna give me 80%. So they're gonna give me 80 grand. I'm gonna go to the property, buy it, and how much am I gonna be making 10% off of that? I'm gonna be making 10 grand every month or however so. So that's 10% on the investment, right? It's 100,000, 10% of that is 10. Yet how much did I initially invest? I only invested 20,000. So 10,000 or 20,000 is actually half of that. So it's 50% return on my investment. Not on the investment, on my investment. Does that make sense? So high equity and high cash flow. These are the two things I'm looking for when I'm going to invest in real estate. Not just high equity and not just high cash flow. The magic word here is the and. Because I'm going to be talking about this later, but you need to have both high equity and high cash flow in your properties if you're looking for a good, easy, nice, you can keep going with it instead of just having that one and then you have to go way up here and get another one and just search all over the place. So that's why we have high equity and high cash flow every time for my properties. Doesn't have any of those, both of those, you don't buy the property if you're me. So I wouldn't buy the property unless it had both of those. It's the main qualities I look for. So the reason where you can check high equity is get an appraiser, and you know how high the cash flow is when you look at it. So high equity. The reason I want this high equity is because high equity is the difference in between what it's worth and what you owe. And my one main rule though, of high equity or any equity, is I'm going to use that money for down payment money. And this is how you create the domino effect. So what happens when you have dominoes? Okay, so you got them all set up all the way over here, right? If you knock the first one down, they're all going to go wee, right? But if you take like 5 out of the middle, they'll stop, right? And these ones stay standing. But over here, this is why if you buy a property without high equity, then you can't take it out and use it for another down payment and get a new mortgage and make another equity pull out. So if you don't have equity in your property, then the dominoes stop coming. And they'll just stay over there and they'll mind their own business. And you can't make any more property in that set of lineup. And then there's high cash flow. So high cash flow is the difference in between income and expenses. And the reason when I use high cash flow I want high cash flow is not for going to buy fancy shoes and cars. I want high cash flow for borrowing power. Because you're not going to get an increased mortgage unless they know that you can pay it off with full interest and finish the mortgage. And so you need to have borrowing power, or else they won't give you the mortgage. If they're not making anything off of it, then they won't give it to you. Then you have to have personal income. So, like I said, you can buy fancy shoes or a nice car or a boat, and you can pay for your children's education, and you can have whatever lifestyle you want. You can live in a mansion, or you can live in a standard house. It depends on what you want. But if you have high cash flow, you can do whatever you want, really, in the amount of cash flow you're bringing in. And ultimately, though, high cash flow is the main way that you get to retirement. So that's why everyone wants high cash flow. Because ultimately, I know that some of you might absolutely love your full-time jobs. Okay, but instead of going, let's say you're working at Walmart, instead of being a cashier at Walmart and you get to meet all these great people, would you prefer to be mini golfing with your children, or going on vacation, or being on a cruise ship? I know there's more things that you'd love to do. And with retirement, you can do whatever you want. You have your ultimate lifestyle. And if you have, so let's say you have your job, and you take more out of here, and you have a part-time job, and you have your full-time job, you can stop working for that and start working for this and get more money. If this is the same amount of money as this. So retirement. Taking off the chains that are holding you back. it can let you do whatever is in your imagination. It's like a dream. You can do whatever you want, other than fly and other stuff. But here with retirement is that you can, like it's just ultimate freedom. You don't have to do anything, no following the rules other than the law unless you want to go to jail. But you just have to, you get to do whatever you want really. You can eat at whatever restaurant, you can go to whatever you want. You might want to go play some soccer or something like that, and you can do whatever. Okay, now we're going to have an assignment here. No one else is going to see it. Take out a pen and paper, please. So no one is going to see this assignment. It's private. No one else will see it. Don't be snooping around in other people's papers. I'm watching you. See, I want you guys to write down how much money you're currently bringing home every month from your job, your full-time job, like Walmart or the restaurant, whatever you work at, police officer, whatever you want, or whatever you do. And then I want you to write down how much you are currently needing to retire right, like now. How much would you need to retire? There's lots of people though, when they're writing this down, and they write down their first one, and they're just looking at it and they're like, oh my God, this isn't enough. Because, you know what, I know that lots of people aren't the same way about me as philanthropy, yet for me, it's never enough to stop the world from pain. There's so many problems in the world. In fact, I bet you there's more people who have no home and no special stuff, I guess, and who are living poorly and have diseases and all that stuff than us, than like people who are like me and people who work at KFC and all those people who are just comfortable in life. There's not that many of them actually out there when you think of the 7 billion. And lots of them have all these types of diseases, and it's just sad to see that. And it's just coming right by us, and we don't even notice that lots of people are dying every day. Like I said, 5 children die one children dies every 5 seconds from thirst or hunger. And there's way more problems in the world than just thirst and hunger. Alright, so, I'm going to get you guys to put up your hands if you have more money on the number that is how much you're bringing home every month from your job. Okay? How about if you have less money going home than you need to retire? Got a few people. How many of you have the exact same amount that you need? Okay, because you guys are right. Because if you're just going, if you're obviously you're comfortable in life, you're not starving, and you have a home, and you obviously came here, which takes a car, and so you got all the essentials and maybe even some things that you would just want, and personal items and all that. So if you're living good now, and you can be making that money when you're retired, then you're just going to live the exact same way, but you're not going to have to focus as much on your job. So that's the exact right amount. It's maybe better if you want to have more, or maybe a little bit less, but no one wants to have less money than you. So, when you have, like, if you have just enough money, you know that you're in, like, the perfect little spot. You can go on vacations once a year, and it's just nice and settled in. Alright. So let's look at some numbers right now. This is my first $4. It was purchased at $160,000. I only actually paid $32,000 for it, and it's bringing in $1,000 every month. And I got this $4 here for a really great deal. Told you guys it's 9 years old. It's about 3 bedrooms each suite or apartment. It's a really good deal. It's because these people were retiring, this couple, and they just wanted to get completely out of investment, completely out of everything, just drop it and do whatever they want. So I got this one really cheap. Then here we have a triplex. This here was, I got this great deal because he had a job out of town, he moved out, and he didn't have anyone to maintenance for him, and he didn't want to pay someone to do it. So I got this one for only $26,000, purchased at $130, and it's bringing in over $1,500 a month. Here we have an up-down duplex. I got this one because it was in foreclosure. I only got this one for $16,250. Very good price. It's only $65,000 when I had the bank's money to do it as well, making approximately $1,000 a month. And so yeah, this one is foreclosed. Really easy to get this one. This one here, 16-unit building. So it's like a huge building with a bunch of people living in it. It's almost like, you have your whole little neighborhood in a building. And then it doesn't rain when you're playing in the hallway with your friends. So this was purchased at $200,000, and the initial investment was only $40,000. And it was bringing in over $5,000 a month. That's pretty good for one building. And that's cash flow, so that's after all of the expenses. And I got this one because the man who owned this was in his deathbed. He was dying, and unfortunately, people like him who had died, we didn't get the miracle that I got with my brother. So he wanted someone to have it in good hands, so that's why we got this one at a good price. So this is my first building again. $160,000 purchase price, $32,000 down payment. So because of $160,000, it looks like from my net worth, it's got 12,000 ROI, return on the investment. But if you look at it's got actually 59% on my investment, return on my investment. Because $18,965,000 compared to $32,000 is 59%, or approximately. And here I'm making a good cash flow as well. I'm making $1,025 cash flow after mortgage payment, taxes, vacancy, bad debt, and all the other stuff. This is just my money to spend and do whatever I want with. So this is how I got through the equity. This is how I'm going to be explaining the equity. So it was worth $200,000 at the time of purchase. I got it for $160,000. I went to the bank with my appraisal, and they gave me 80%, which is $160,000. I went to another bank and I paid off my old mortgage with this new money, and I had $32,000 left. But now, because of my increased mortgage, my cash flow is only $886. So people are thinking, oh my God, why would I do this? Because I got less cash flow now. I can buy less shoes, and I can buy less special food and whatever you want. So, but here though, I have $32,000 in hand right now. Okay, not literally, but I had $32,000. So this came from my own property. I took out the equity, which is the difference between what it's worth and what I owe. I owed $128,000, and it was $160,000, so I got $32,000 off that. So this is one of the greatest ways of leverage in real estate. So I had my purchase price, remember? It's $160,000, $32,000 down payment. It was appraised at $200,000, and my equity pool made $32,000 in hand. I had $886 for cash flow every month. But now I'm going to take this I'm going to take this equity, I'm going to go back and I'm going to place another down payment and go to the bank again. Get a brand new property. Now I've got two, okay? Appraised at $200, take the equity out of that, got another $886 in cash flow every month. You're going to take that 32, bring it down. You're going to get another property. This is the domino effect, but we're on these 4 dominoes. So I'm going to take this, another down payment, $200,000 appraisal, 32,000 equity pool, another 886. And we're gonna do this one last time. 32,000, another down payment, purchase price 160,000, $200,000 appraisal, and 32,000 equity, 886 cash flow. So every month now, I've got $3,544 coming in. I've got $32,000 in my hand, which I haven't used yet. Got appraisal for $800. So this sounds all pretty great, right? Isn't this pretty awesome? So this is going to be bringing in lots of money to be able to create your lifestyle and have whatever you need in life. And and it's going to be able to, you know, maybe it'd be nice to bring your wife a little present. You got lots of extra money coming in. Oh, and how much money, because I have this 32,000 right back here, how much money did it cost me for this whole portfolio? No, because I have it right back here. It's now mine again. Exactly. I paid absolutely nothing. I'm making $3,500 every month, and I have $800,000 worth of property, or nothing, $0. And I still have $32,000 in hand. Isn't that pretty awesome? You paid nothing, and you have this. People could easily live off this, and imagine one of those people who just don't have enough money to live. Imagine how excited he'd be if he paid nothing and got all of this. Because it'd be lots for people, let's say, who work at McDonald's. This would be a way better life for them. So this, 1 year later, isn't this like super exciting? Because 1 year later, I did nothing to the apartment. Did nothing, didn't change the carpets, didn't paint it. It's the same old apartment. But the economy changed. Now it's worth $291, reappraised. So I took it to the bank, my appraisal, and I said, hey, I want 80% of this. So they gave me $232,800 as my new mortgage. And I went off to the next bank, paid off my old mortgage. Now I have $72,800 in hand. But now because of my increased mortgage, I only have $570 coming in of cash flow after expenses. So how much money do I have right now? Okay, but this is on one property. How many of these properties did I have? So how much actually money do I have if I did this on all properties? So that's 72,800 times 4. Isn't that like amazing? I have still done nothing, and I have a lot of money now, like lots. Times 4 that. So this is another one of the charts. So it was appraised at 291, about 58 down, mortgage of 232,000, I have 72,800 equity. So out of all 4 of the properties, I have $291,200. I am making $2,280 every month, and I have $1,164,000 worth of property. I've still done absolutely nothing. I had $32,000 at the start, but I got it right back. I have done absolutely nothing to these properties. I paid nothing. This is proof. I did absolutely nothing, and I have $1.1 million worth of property. So this is what I got here. $1.1 million worth of property. I've paid absolutely $0 for this entire portfolio. I have now $291,000 in hand. Wait till I can buy another property with that. And I have $2,280 of cash flow coming in every month. This is only with my 4 properties, and I've still paid absolutely nothing. And I've got a lot of money in hand right now. How much is this, like, how much did I pay for all of this again? And look at what I got here. This is amazing, and I paid absolutely nothing for any of this. So that's what I got. So my $291,200 as a down payment, so that's only 20% of what I'm buying, will buy me a $1.5 million purchase price on property. Plus my 4 other properties, I have $2,664,000 worth of property, and I'm making $12,000 every month in passive income. Imagine what I can do now to change the world. I paid nothing for that. Absolutely nothing. And it's making me, it could change the world right here, right now. I did nothing for this. I just had a little help from my mom, and I got this done. It's making huge impact in the world. Imagine how good you'd feel if you come home one day after a long day of work, of getting properties, and you come home and you got $12,000 in your pocket. You're like, what happened? You did a bunch of work, and then you're like, how did this get here? You got $12,000 in your pocket every month. So what would you want to do? If you could have an inspiration to change the world, you had an extra $12,000 every month, what would you do to change the world? What would you do? Because what are you guys passionate about? Are you passionate about helping the elderly? Are you passionate about saving animals? Helping starving children or AIDS? What is your passion? What would you like to do to change the world? Any examples, please?
I help relatives in Ghana. I'm talking about poor children in Africa. Our family heritage comes from a certain village in Ghana, and I would
Good idea. So you can help all the little children in Africa. So help some of the children in Africa. But still though, imagine everyone did what he did, but not in the exact same form, because you're going to run out of children to save. If you all did that kind of impact, imagine how great the world would be. Imagine later on, if we could have the world without problems, and we can all be like everybody in this room. Have a good equal amount, and everything just be nice, and everyone have jobs, and have houses, and have real estate, and just, wouldn't that be nice? It's just sad knowing that people are dying, and we're just sitting here on Facebook texting our friends, and we're not thinking about what's happening in the world. And that's really sad. Don't you guys think so? So, remember how I had $12,000 coming in every month? So, I was like all excited for a second. I stopped thinking about what I was going to do for a second, and I was like, okay, let's go on vacation. So we went to Cuba for a little while, for 2 weeks, and we saw some pretty sad stuff there. They were so poor, and there were people who had no home, had no street, had no shelter, had no one to care for them, had no money, had no food, and nothing like that. And I was just trying to have a fun time, and trying to, even though all the bad circumstances, I was playing baseball with the neighborhood kids, and we'd play with a little stick because they didn't have a bat, and we'd be playing all day. And I just noticed that I found a connection, and I went over to, I was walking one of my friends home, his name's Michael, and I saw him on the street with his mom and dad with these signs, and I just started crying, and I decided that I was going to use my money to make a difference and to build them a house. And instead of just, so that's the house that we built them, but instead of just building them a house, we taught them how to make money and how to start their own businesses so they can help others in their community as well. I know it wasn't much where they could live, yet I taught them how to start businesses, and they could buy food, and they could also help others, as I said. But they had just what they needed here, and even though if it wasn't enough, they built the strength now that they had food and they had nutrition, and they could help others just in physically stuff as well. And they had an avocado tree in their backyard so they could feed some of the homeless people. And it was just beautiful. It was so beautiful what we did to change the world. And I just can't wait as I start building more money and more real estate to be able to do 100 times what I did there. So is there any of you who'd like to share what they would have done in that scenario and how they would have felt to be there in that background and see all those starving people and no one had any homes, and the few people that actually had cars were kind of bicycles, but they called them cars, and their taxi cabs were just bicycles with carriages on the back, and that's how people would make money. But there was only a few of those jobs. No one else had jobs like that. I know it might have seemed very minor compared to what we have now, but we bought them a popcorn machine, and like an air popper, and they made a popcorn business, which they sold a lot of money and made a lot of money off of. And imagine, so they live in Florida now, the mom and the dad. Michael, he lives with his grandma. But they got enough money to move to Florida, and all because of an air popcorn machine. And to think about it, I made my first $1 million by the time I was 7 because of $35, because of a few little chickens, because I was inspired. And they were inspired to change the world too. They were inspired to get to Florida and to just help out the world. They knew that they had this sudden miracle, because these guys were complete strangers to me. And I knew that what I was going to do for them was going to inspire them to make a difference. My mentor, Victor Menasce, I'm so very lucky to have her as my mom, is like the greatest person in the world to me. And she went from $400,000 in debt, it's like minus money, and she went to $3.1 million in just 6 months. It's insane what she does. No one else does that. No one thinks like her. She's amazing. She just thinks differently. She's not human. She's better than human. She made the record of 49 rentals she bought in just 10 days. Imagine you could buy almost 50 rentals in 10 days. It was a lot of work, but she did it. I'm just so proud of her. And she was the #1 private buyer of real estate in all of the nation, which is Canada. And she retired as a multi-millionaire by the age of 33. How many of you would like to retire by the time they're 33? And my mom has personally mentored over 1,000 real estate investors right now who could, at this moment, be changing the world because of what she did. Imagine you were successful and you trained 1,000 little army people, army soldiers to go change the world for you. It's just amazing to see what she's done, and I'm just so proud. She has this real estate investment success system, which she created because of all of her stuff she's learned and she knew. It's got every single thing she knows. It's got time management, strategic planning, equity pools, private deals, market research, property management, negotiations, rent-to-own financing, and a bunch of other stuff. It's really it's just amazing how much she's done. And she made this to train people, and officially, not officially, but the main goal is to change the world, because what would be better than to make the world a better place, instead of sitting on your couch and being like, oh, I want a Ferrari. You can go buy yourself a Ferrari. But no matter how many hot girls you pick up in your Ferrari, you haven't changed the world. And still, I don't know how good you're going to feel about, you're probably going to feel really good in your new comfy Ferrari, yet you probably feel better if you changed someone's life, and especially if you kept it alive. So what would you say if I could tell you, you could become a multi-millionaire with just $10,000? Would you be excited? What happens if I told you it was a money-back guarantee? You've got absolutely nothing to lose. You're going to be a multi-millionaire at the end of the year if you follow his instructions. It is crazy simple. It's that easy. So with this, it's just like, what she's done here is trained 1,000 real estate investors, which has made them become people who have changed the world. And they've impacted on so many lives. Because imagine what my mom did times 10,000, times 1,000. That's how much, she's trained over 1,000 people. And she could be training even more. Imagine you could borrow my mom's brain. Because she's my mom, okay? And I got to use her strategies as I got started in real estate. But imagine you could have my mom. Wouldn't that be pretty awesome? You can learn so much, but it's not for having fun and giving her hugs and kisses and giving her snuggles and watching movies with her, but you're going to be learning and how to make a different lifestyle and a different impact in the world. Now, here, I have 30 scholarships. That is going to be it will only make you pay for this REI system, which is real estate investment, which is only $24.97. That's amazing. That's over 75% off. And I've only got 30 of them up here. But the first 30 people that come up here will get one, and they can go to my website, tinytrump.com, and sign up. But this is one of the most important things about these. They're only valid for 24 hours. So let's say you're sitting next to a guy who really wants this, yet you're number 30, and you run out, and the next guy doesn't get to have it, but you end up not doing it. This is only for people who want to take action and start now and make a difference in the world right now and change the world no matter what it takes. So first 30 people who come up here, come get a scholarship. Can you fill this out and give it back to me after, please? Life without purpose has no passion. Think about it though, if you're not making a difference in the world, what are you doing? You're sitting down and counting on the clock. Every 5 seconds go by and you're like, oh, I'm so bored. I can't wait till my friend comes over or I get a phone call. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, but every 5 seconds, another person dies. And another one. And another one. And you could have saved them. It just saddens that you don't even notice that this is happening. And people are just dying all the time, every year, every second, basically. And it comes in so fast and it ends, it just dies so quickly. And you have no time to stop this. Yet here I got my scholarships, which are going to make people some multi-millionaires right here for $24.97. Thank you very much, though, for having me on the stage. It was very happy. I'm very excited about it.
If you think that this is just a rehearsed talk, let me tell you something. I spent the last day and a half with Ryan and his family, and this guy is very genuine. We were at dinner last night, and we were going over some of the projects that I have going on in Philadelphia. And you remember that? And what did you say about some of the projects that I was doing? Remember that 10-unit building?
Yeah, that was a really good investment because you can make lots of money off of that. And if you have someone helping you, because you don't live in Philadelphia, but if you have someone help you manage that, you can be making a lot of cash flow.
He actually analyzed the numbers as I was showing him the pictures, and he analyzed the numbers, and he got it instantly. Like he said, oh wow, you can pull equity out of here. Like he gets it. Like he really does. So awesome, Ryan. Put your hand up if you actually saw Ryan on CTV this morning. Yeah, we were on CTV this morning on Ottawa Morning Live, talking with Jeff Hopper, and so that was a great little segment as well. And then, what are we up to tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to meet Eric Trump and George Ross, which is Donald Trump's attorney. I don't know if Donald Trump himself will be showing up. Yet, I'm going to be spending some time with them and going to be eating some lunch with George Ross. I'd like to thank Victor Menasce very much, because he set up this whole project and this whole weekend, or few days that I got to spend here, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm going to be learning a lot from George Ross, and Donald Trump's son.
One of the things that has always impressed me about Ryan is that he gets a few things like that are just very deeply ingrained within him. Do you remember when we were out on the boat yesterday and you said that you wanted eventually to get a Lamborghini, right? And if you didn't have the skills to drive it, what did you say? Do you remember that?
I need someone to drive it for me. It's really that simple though. Like if you're a multi-millionaire, it's not going to cost you that much out of your bank account to pay some dude to drive your car around. Not yet.
There's one more story I'd like Ryan to tell. Remember the Secret Knox event in San Diego with Greg Reed? Secret Knox is a conference that's run by Greg Reed, who runs the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And they do all these different activities. And one of the activities is something that was called Business in a Box. Was that what it was called? Yeah. And so you bid for these various business opportunities. And one lady traded her business for another one, and she got a squeegee and a bottle of Windex. And she was pretty bummed out. She went back to her seat because she thought she got the booby prize. And then, Ryan, what did you do?
So I went up on stage and I asked for the lady who won the squeegee and the Windex. She came up here and I gave her, I think, $10 for it, $5. And I went outside and I got some tickets and I got people to pay me $5 for me to wash their cars. And I ended up making $601 for charity. I didn't actually end up washing their cars because they'd pay me the money and they'd get the ticket, but then they wouldn't come towards me and ask me to go get their car. And I can't wash their car if I don't know what their car is. I ended up washing like 2 cars because no one would come up to me. But yeah, I hired a few kids, $3 to go wash the cars, and I can make $2 off of each of them. And then that money goes to charity, and then I can be washing more cars at the same time.
Ryan, you talked a little bit about building houses in Cuba. What are some of your other philanthropic efforts?
I like to just help out with anyone I can. I'm really just excited, not really excited, but I'm happy that I could have made such an impact on my brother's life, how I saved Ethan, and I'd be liking to help some more other terminally ill kids for any association, just to help out kids who are supposed to be dying, and like he's 10 right now and he's healthy and if you ask him what he wants for a treat, he's going to ask you for green vegetables. That's what he's going to ask you for. He's healthy and he's smart.
Is he an investor?
Any questions for Ryan from the audience?
There's a lot of children your age in this group today. What would you
Well, considering I started at the time of 3, it's really just, if you have a goal and a dream and an inspiration, like, well, I had the biggest inspiration possible, and I had a goal and a dream, and I had ideas, and I got them all done, and I took action with those, and I got my brother to stay alive. And you just need to start, and as soon as you can start, you just need to keep growing, and don't give up. Yeah?
Is your brother following in your footsteps?
Not quite yet. Yep.
I really want to know how many of your scholarship programs, but I'm just, I don't know, the 24-hour deadline. But is there any other way?
Well, for the 24-hour deadline, it's just, you can't, like, you just have to sign into the website before 24 hours. It's not that you need to, like,
Why don't you talk about that?
oh, okay. Yes? Sometimes. Pardon? Yeah, my mom's right here. She's a beautiful lady in the front. Okay, yes?
What are you going to invest next?
I'm not quite sure. I might want to invest near my house, and it'd be kind of cool to just be able to invest in the neighborhood and get to know the area. So just wherever I can get some good deals. I like to play outside with my neighbors. Like I said though, I'm not anything special. I don't have any superpowers. I'm just a normal kid, and I play outside and I go biking, and I just try to enjoy being a kid while I can be, but I still try to work with it as well. Yes? I want to be able to be a hockey player because I love playing hockey, and I know with all my playing outside and having fun with my little brother and doing business work, I don't have that much time to practice for hockey to make it to the NHL or into one of the bigger leagues. So one of my main goals was to buy an NHL team and then make it to the league. No matter what. You can't stop. Yes, I do go to school. I go to a French school, and I speak fluent French. And there's only 2 weeks of school left until I graduate. And then I'll be in high school, but I'm going to be homeschooled for high school because of the experiences that teachers don't like it when you leave for half the year to go on tour to go speaking. So it turns out I'm just going to go homeschooling so I can do it on the plane. Yes. Well, you just gotta be looking, and you have to be always ready to find deals. And if you're determined to find something, you're not gonna give up. And you're gonna go search the bottom of the earth to find whatever you can. Yet, if this is not as big as a deal, but if you can find better deals, it's best. Just when you're looking for properties, mainly, I just got lucky to have such great deals, but mainly you're gonna want to get real estate with high equity and high cash flow. Yes?
When is your book to be 12%
We're not quite sure yet. We have to publish it.
Where are you
I am in Canada at the moment, but I might go to USA because we got lots of nice beaches in America, and we got lots of nice places where lots of people like to stay. And I think there's a higher population in America, and maybe even a higher, less vacancy maybe, and more cash flow and high equity. Because obviously it will be appraised for more money. Yes?
What vehicle do you use to hold your properties, given that many provinces prohibit unrestricted property?
You just have to hire some people to help you out. Just. Oh yeah, you have to have a lawyer to build a trust.
Any other questions?
Ryan Ross, everyone. Okay, I'll ask you to stay on stage just for a quick sec. Organize myself here. You said you didn't have any superpowers, Ryan, but I have to disagree because coming up on stage is a very difficult thing. I mean, you wouldn't know it to look at me. Notice I'm not looking at the audience. So it's something I'm working on. So I'm a fan already, just because that's a superpower right there. So you're heading off to New York tomorrow, 5 a.m. I understand, and you're going to go see George Ross. So I want to present you with a little gift on behalf of all of the OREIO membership and on behalf of the executive. So thank you for being here. It's a book. It's Trump-Style Negotiations by George Ross, and you're going to actually see George Ross, and maybe he'll sign it for you. Thank you very much. And I have one more little gift. So you're known as Tiny Trump, right? And you're going to see Eric Trump. So maybe he'll sign this. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Tiny Trump book. Thank you very much, Ryan. Finally, he says, finally. Okay, we're going to take a short break. Ryan's going to be available to answer some questions and meet with you, shake your hand, take some pictures. I'm going to ask respectfully that you don't pat him on the head. Or pinch his cheeks. Apparently, it's a thing, so please don't. If you can't resist, and you have to, don't hurt him. So you're going to pay $20 to Ryan, and he'll donate it to a charity of his choice. So be prepared, or keep your hands to yourself, okay? Fair enough? So we're going to take a break right now, and Ryan will meet you where? Victor at the back, or? 20-minute break, and don't forget our sponsors are right back there. They'd love to talk to you, okay? See you in 20 minutes.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do as we get started here, we're going to start giving away some free stuff. So please take your seats.
That's how to get him back.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President, Silvino, and we will start with a couple of infomercials. Sorry? Oh yes, we'll do the monthly draw first.
All right, guys, who wants to win something? So we're going to do the monthly draw, and while I'm getting ready to do the monthly draw, those of you that are doing your infomercials, if you wouldn't mind just lining up on stage right. See how I got away from that? Stage right. Okay. So the monthly draw, this goes for OREIO members who bring in a guest. So I got a nice big pile here, and I'm gonna not cheat by, I'll ask Cedric here to pick one out without looking.
5, 6, 5, 8, 0, 9.
So I'll say it again, 5, 6, 5, 8, 0, 9. Who's got that ticket? And in case you're wondering, it's for gas. Esso. $25 of gas. There you go. Do we go once? Going twice? Oh, somebody's going to lose out on gas. That's the way it flows. All right. Let's try Brian's luck. Brian's our webmaster, in case you're wondering. 5, 6, 5, 7, 6, 0. Anyone? 5, 6, 5, 7, 6, 0. Oh, looks like we got a winner. Whoa! Let's verify that ticket. 5, 6, 5, 7, 6, 0. All yours. Congratulations. Okay, that takes care of that part. All right, so heading over to the infomercials. So for those of you who don't know what an infomercial is, basically it's a 30-second pitch that you get to give, and as a result of that, you give away a card up to $25, or a gift certificate of some sort, okay? Let's see, who do we have here? We got, who wants to come up first? We got John. This one. Okay. Come on up. Yeah, Mark, come on up. And what we're going to do is, instead of having people come up every single time, I'll do the draw at the end.
Sure, absolutely.
Just to speed things up, because we burnt through a long timer.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Mousseau. I don't need this to hear real well. I'm used to it. I'm a public speaker. I'm the president and CEO of Canada REIC. We're launching this new club in Ottawa, as you sort of know and heard. But what I just want to say is that I've trained 35,000 students across North America and in South Africa, and REIC is there to train. We're not there to sell any stuff. We're here to train. Many of you guys that are in this room have been my students. Victor was one of my first students many, many years ago. I've got some gentlemen here that know me very well. I'm happy to be a member of your club. It's not a matter of diluting your club, it's to add something new to you guys. So here's something. I'm giving you guys my book. It's what real estate gurus don't tell you. There's $5,000 worth of coaching in that book. So, and spreadsheets and clauses and everything. It's for the one that wants it. So thank you for your time. I appreciate being here. Thanks.
Okay, Mark, just grab the ticket there.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Anita coming up next.
My name is Anita Flagg. My company is Flagg Investments. Many of you know that I run a monthly educational group for boomer women. And I've learned so much from these fantastic, amazing women. One of the things I've learned is that a lot of people are very hesitant to invest in real estate. But what I learned most from the women is that there are three main reasons that people are afraid to invest. One is that it just seems incredibly complicated and they don't want to do it by themselves. The second one is that they're afraid to invest a large amount of money all at one time. And you'll notice that even in OREIO on the forum, you won't find anything for less than $50,000 as an initial investment. And usually it's more than that. The third reason is that they may have all their money tied up in investments, they still want to get started, but they just don't have enough cash free. So thinking about this over the past year, I came up with an idea, and I am now offering a real estate investment that's kind of a way to partner with me and pool your money in buying real estate properties together. And the big thing about this is that it's completely passive, it's cash flowing investments, and the minimum investment is $10,000 to partner with us. So if you're interested in this, or if you know someone that is, I'm also paying referral fees. So meet me at the back later. Thanks very much.
We have an Indigo/Chapters card from Anita. Yeah. And I'll just call out the numbers afterwards, like I said, just to speed things up a bit. And we have, some of you guys might recognize.
Hi, my name is Denise McPherson, and as many of you would probably already know REIN, the Real Estate Investment Network, and you would have already seen and heard from Richard Dolan, who is the president of REIN, who has come to OREIO because we had partnered and did some work with them this past year. So he was here in November and again in April. And I'm happy to say that REIN has opened up a chapter in Ottawa. That's with the 4 chapters they already have across Canada, which is Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and Toronto. So they're having their very first meeting in Ottawa, and it's going to be quarterly meetings. And basically you're invited. And the tickets are, they're $49.95 online for the general public, but as REIN has offered specials for OREIO members, this one here with a special link is $29.95 for you to actually get your ticket. Now I do have some of the sheets that are at the back with the information with what is on the that night and who's going to be speaking and all the topics. You can pick one up. And basically I have a chapters card for you. So I guess we're just going to be picking one up. I'm not going to give you one. So we hope to see you there on Thursday night, June 12th.
Thank you. Okay. All right, John, come on up. Oh, we have a timer. Awesome. That's great. Man, Lord. Lost my phone. Just, okay, I'll just wait some more then. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Walsh. I am here to offer you a service. My service is to help you, the real estate investors, find financing for your cash flowing properties. That's the whole tagline. That's it. As well, I also get to promote. What? Sorry? Careful what I asked for. Okay. So I also host, with aids of friends, a cash flow game night, which is going to be the first Wednesday, for now, of each month. So if you want to know more about that, you want to know more about cash flow, whatever it is, come see me. And I'm giving away the standard $25 Chapters gift card to help you improve your education. There. Still less than a minute. That's amazing. Oh, you interest. How much interest? Do I get to read it? Do it afterwards. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Richard, come on up.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the new executive. They're doing a fantastic job already out of the gate. Let's give them a round of applause. Ryan was fantastic as well, and great advice there on philanthropy and making sure you're doing great things to change the world and progress and move forward. Over the last year, I've had a very successful real estate journey. All of the real estate I've purchased has been in Hamilton, buying 12 properties and renovating and rehabbing all of them. And Ottawa has been a little bit flat, but things are changing here and things are picking up. So I've decided to expand my team here, and I'm going to start doing some more investing here in Ottawa. So that opens up some opportunity. I'm going to start with some flips. There'll be 6-month terms typically. So if anybody's looking for an investment up to 6 months in a short renovation project, please come and see me or pick up one of my cards off the back. Okay? Thank you. And giving away a Starbucks card. If you're going to be successful in real estate, you're going to have to stay up late and wake up early. The winner is 565785.
Okay, for the Indigo card, guys, 565-809. 565-809. Going once. Going twice. Okay, we're over here. This is an auto draw. 56, 58, 25. That seems like a familiar number. 56, 58, 25. Anyone? Yep, we got one. All right. Okay. 5, 6, wrong man. 5, 6, 5, 7, 7, 6. 56, 57, 76. There we go. Next one is, I gotta grab the right hand, this is funny. Okay. 56, 57, 61. 56, 57, 61. There we go. Okay, last but not least, Mark Busso. I'm just gonna 56, 58, 19. 56, 58, 19. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that was it for the infomercials. The next thing we're going to talk about real quick is the bylaws. And, give me a little second here. Okay. So, as you guys are aware, Victor was talking about it earlier, OREIO's been operating basically as an informal organization. And what we're going to be doing is to comply with the Ontario laws that came out 6 months ago in regards to governing nonprofit organizations. The new executive basically decided to comply with the laws, form a legal nonprofit entity, and form and incorporate as a nonprofit. So as a result of this, guys, I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes open because we're going to be sending you emails with the new bylaws, and we're going to be asking you to vote online, okay? And that way it won't take up our time here. So again, we'll be posting the bylaws on the website, and we're going to send you a link via email, and we're also going to ask you to vote online, okay? So you'll expect that, and expect more email communications from us going forward. And the other thing I want to talk about real quick is the special interest groups. Now, everybody pull out your yellow sheets. Every member should have a yellow sheet. Okay, I'm going to get you to fill it out right now. Basically, it's very simple. Top 4 subgroups. Put your name on there, list the top 4 that you're interested in, and if you'd like to lead one of the subgroups, you can put your name on the right. Okay? Once you're done, guys, pass it towards the center of the aisle, and I'm going to get some of the OREIO execs to walk up and down the aisle and grab those, okay? So let's do that right now.
Yeah.
Quasi, are you almost ready?
Yes, yes. Oh, you should have gotten another. You got a shot. Are there any extra sheets? Remember to get one. For sure. Okay. We'll get you one.
And if anybody's missing a set of keys, this looks familiar. A blue set of keys.
Is it a Lexus or an Audi?
It's a Lamborghini. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to Quasi Bourne, who's going to talk about market updates. And we're going to finish picking up those yellow sheets from you. Come on up, Quasi.
All right. Check, check. Check, check, check. All right, thanks, Sylvain. See everyone's still going to the back. My presentation with my clicker. See everyone's in the back. Okay, let's check who's listening. If you're listening, clap your hands. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so my name is Quasi. I work with a company called Center Capital Investment Realty. We focus primarily on helping people buy and sell apartment buildings in the Ontario market. Most of our business is done in Ottawa, but we actually work in other parts of Ontario as well. So Pembroke being one of them. Our company actually owns probably about 150 You working here? Yeah. So our company probably owns about 150 doors out in Pembroke, and the executive has asked me to share some of the information and statistics that are happening in the town of Pembroke, or sorry, in the city of Pembroke. So let's begin. So in this quick synopsis here, I'm going to talk about 4 topics. I'm going to talk about the city of Pembroke. I'm going to talk about market activity, talk about the vacancy rates and rental rates that are going on right now, and I'll also talk about the economic drivers, why people are really going to Pembroke. So the city. So in terms of populations and incomes, population of Pembroke, Ontario right now is sitting around 14,360. If you look at the trend from 2001, and these are all taken from Statistics Canada censuses. So if you look at the trend from 2001 to 2011, we're going in an upward motion. You'll see a big drop from 1996 down to 2001, and if you look down below that, you're also looking at unemployment. So the unemployment in 1996 in Pembroke was around 14%. So that's pretty high. Today, Pembroke's sitting around 7.8%. So they've cut it in half. If you're looking down at the trend, we're shifting a little bit. That's also it's right now shifting between 2006 and 2011. Also, of course, we had in 2008 we had the economic recession, so that's played a little bit of a factor. When we talk about incomes, from both standpoints, the incomes are moving in an upward direction. So when we talk about incomes, current income for an individual 15 plus years right now in Pembroke around 34,000, and for a family you're looking at around 75,000. So again, both of them looking at upward trends. We're looking at upward population as well as increase in income. So those are 2 factors for looking at investing in real estate. So a couple of reasons why people go to Pembroke. These are touristy reasons. Funny enough, Pembroke has 30 historic murals. So similar to that picture you'll actually see those drawn on buildings in Pembroke. They have more of those there than anywhere else in Canada. You'll see the Champlain Trail Pioneer Village, you see Pembroke Hydro, Algonquin Park, Algonquin College. I'll speak more about Algonquin College and of course the Canadian Force Base in Petawawa. Those are 2 big things that people really look at when they're in Pembroke. So economic drivers. So actually, before I even talk about specific economic drivers, Pembroke, Ontario, right now as a city, they're investing quite a bit of money into their town, into the city. They're investing around $200 million into the city, into infrastructure. So let's talk about things like their hospital. The hospital is something actually worth noting because that hospital services not only the city of Pembroke, but also Petawawa, which is about a 5-minute drive. It also services Laurentian Valley, and on top of that, the Renfrew area. So that one hospital services that entire area. Okay, so other things that are happening in terms of infrastructure, you're looking at, of course, sewage treatment plants, but the biggest thing worth noticing again is actually going to be the Algonquin College. Algonquin College out in Pembroke is a big hub. They recently constructed a new facility, and that facility is going to host about 900 new students a year. And those 900 new students, actually, the school does not supply residents like they do in the city of Ottawa. So all those students have to find a place to live. So it's actually a really good rental market. In terms, and that there, I'm actually only talking about the city themselves. In terms of private investment, a lot of the big box stores are already there. So we're talking about Rona's, you're talking about your Travelodge expansions, Home Depots, Walmarts, are all now in the city. And on top of that, they've recently been approved, the private investors come through and recently been approved for 1,000 new homes to be built there. Nothing has started yet, but it has been approved by the city. So major industries, the biggest industry that really started Pembroke was the forestry and farming industry. It's not as popular anymore, but that is how it started and still is active today. When you look at Algonquin College, again, like I said, they just built a new campus. They're going to have around 900 new students there coming year after year. You're going to be looking at the Canadian Army base. Garrison Petawawa is actually the largest military base in Canada. They house about 6,100 military, 900 civilians. Now that base is located in Petawawa, which is actually, again, like I said before, about 5 minutes outside of Pembroke. But many of them will commute, because again, the distance, truthfully, from Pembroke to Petawawa is like from here to downtown. It's not a significant distance at all. So vacancy rates and rental rates. So when I look at the rental rates and you look at that chart, we're moving in an increasing direction. The current average rent out there right now is probably around $728. And that's average rent. Now, to break that down, I can give you an example. Our units, for a 2-bedroom, we're getting probably about $900 a month in rent. For a 1-bedroom, we're getting about between $700 and $750. And for a bachelor, we get probably around $625 a month. So and now these are renovated units, because the thing with Pembroke out there, it's similar to kind of Pembroke out here. Last month, we had one of the counselors telling us how what's happening in the Algonquin area is that the students are renting, but then the people are renting out their bedrooms, and they're just kind of chopping them up, and something that's a house is now becoming a 3-bedroom apartment, and similar types of things are happening. So you're actually going to see a big variance in rents when you're truly looking at everything. But if you have a fixed up, purpose-built unit apartment building, the rents that I just talked about should definitely be achievable. In terms of the vacancy rates, you're going to see right now it's at 2.6%. It's still at 3%, so still fair, but definitely a little bit higher. Now, that being said, my prediction, truthfully, going forward, I think it's going to be different, especially with a new school coming in, newer population. So that should probably decrease the the vacancy rate. So market activity. So at our firm, we don't always really follow single family, but I did do the research. So if you look at single family sales, average price around $197,000 right now, and moving in an upward motion. But then again, if you look at the number of sales, that seems to fluctuate. And when I was talking to someone at the city today, they're really telling me it's really the Army base that has a big influence on the amount of sales that are going to be happening. Because if they call for a move, and I don't know if anyone here is military family, but military families, they move quite a bit. And so when that happens, a big shift can happen in the market. So if there's a lot of people supposed to be moving to the city, you'll see a lot of sales. If a lot of people moving out, you'll also see a lot of sales. Same type of thing. And my last slide here, I have the apartment building sales. Now this is, again, what we focus on. On a price per door basis, you're going to see it's kind of all over the place. Truthfully, in Pembroke, between 2008 and 2014, there's been probably about 8 apartment building sales. That's units 7 plus and over. There's not many buildings that trade out there, so it's very, very tough to decide to predict and tell you what a trading rate is. But what I can tell you is this: the building you're seeing right there is a building that our company, we had up for sale. I can't tell you what the client has it tied up at, but we are offering to the market at $65 a door. So relative to Ottawa, it's quite a significant difference. So ladies and gentlemen, that's 5 minutes of Pembroke as a city in a nutshell. Thanks very much. If anyone has any questions about Pembroke and wants to talk to me, feel free. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Kwesi. No, I'm not going in your pocket. Okay, where's Victor? Okay, we're going to get Victor back up here to quickly take care of our deal sharing and positive action takers.
Okay, so this is the segment of the evening where members come up on stage and talk about deals that they have to share. So anyone would like to share a deal that they are working on with the membership? Yeah, Kwesi?
Hi guys, again, I was just up here. I actually have 2 projects on the go. One is a triplex where we're looking for joint venture partners. So if anyone's, it's actually here in Centertown area, going to be really close to LRT station, so I think it'll work very well. Another deal we actually have for sale for anybody who's on the development side is a infill project. It's in the Westboro neighborhood. So if anyone wants to know about that, it's off market as well, so if anyone wants to know about that, let me know.
Hi, my name is Nick Legault. So we just closed on another project just last Tuesday, and so we closed with all our money to be able to purchase it. We're doing some renovation. We're looking for a small second to be able to pull some of our money out and then continue with another project we're moving forward. The other project we're moving forward is a much larger multi-unit, and we're raising some funds to be able to make that happen. We're looking for investors between 50 and 100,000, and we have some good positions for those people who are interested in that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick Lord. I'm with Capo Management, and we are imminently closing on an accepted offer for several hundred units of apartments in the Maritime provinces. So we're looking for some joint venture partners to come along on this deal. We're soon going to have the financials to share with people. So my name is Nick Lord. I'm with Capo Management. Just come and see me and I'll give you a card. Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Lena Gerkis, and I actually have a client in Hamilton who is looking to offload a portion of his portfolio. He's got 14, it's duplex, triplex, and single-family home combinations. These are all properties that are off-market. They will not be marketed with a realtor. He is willing to hold a BTE, so if you would like some more information, come find me.
Anyone else? Bert?
Hi, I'm Stuart McPherson, SDMAC Properties. We recently closed on a multifamily, and we have repurposed it, and now we're going to refinance it. In talking with our business partners, we've decided to offer a private mortgage on this. We're looking for about $300,000, either in a first position or a combination of first and second. And with our strategy, we're going to make this available for anyone using registered funds, whether it's RRSPs, TFSAs, anything like that. So if you're interested in having a further discussion on that, you can either see me or you can find my lovely wife, Denise.
Actually, Stuart, the question you asked Councillor Shirelli last month, I don't know, a few of you I think went on my website and listened to a recording I did with Mr. George Ross. I asked George the very same question about that situation, and it was a fascinating answer. It was very different than what the politicians had to say. So thank you for the question. It was a great question.
No problem. George had a great response.
He had a great response. So if you're interested in this whole question about what to do when, as a landlord, you get charged with your tenants causing a nuisance, there's a link to it on the forum, the OREIO website, and George had a great response to that whole situation. Okay. I have one deal that I'd like to share with you. This is a project that we're working on in Racine, Wisconsin. It's a 140-unit complex. We've acquired it deeply distressed. We're acquiring it for $1.6 million. We'll take about $1.2 million of renovation, and post-renovation it'll be worth north of $4 million. We'll generate in excess of $1 million worth of equity in about 12 months. So we have a little bit of room left in this project. We're almost fully financed, but there's a little bit of room left. If you're interested in participating in it, we've got some thoughts. It's a fantastic project. So anyway, just come see me about it, okay? Next is action takers. So if you have taken action, oh, you know what? Oh yes, okay. If you have taken action on something new and you'd like to share with the membership, please come up on stage and share your success story.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I actually have one for each. So for real estate, this is my first check. So Rich, thank you very much. It's a referral fee, but it's a start, right? The second one is a business related. I just signed my first contract as a self-employed. I'm moving towards the business, but slowly but surely. And my non-real estate related is actually standing here. It may look easy for me, for you. You might think it's easy for me to talk in front of you. Actually, I'm used to talking to one-on-one, but I want to be a public speaker down the road, so I thought it could be a good opportunity to practice. So there you go. Have a good night.
Come on up. Hi, Victor. Hi.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I just sold my very first flip rehab house I bought, renovated, and just sold last week. So I broke the ice, so I'm very proud about that. I made a little bit of money. Well, it's not a $1 million deal, but still made like 12 grand and a great deal of experience.
Anyone else? John?
Good evening. We just finished building 2 triplexes side by side, bought one property and then split it in 2 and completed it last week, and they're up for rent, and now we're just jumping both feet in and going into an infill and looking at a possible another condo build. So.
Anyone else? All right, I'll tell you one that I had happened last week. We were working very hard on a 9-unit new construction project in Philadelphia, and the equity funding fell through for that, and we were facing having to waive our conditions on Friday afternoon. Now, 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, I decided to get on the phone and see if I could pull this one out of the fire, and by 5 to 6 on Friday night, we had secured the funding for that project, and so we managed to rescue it, and we'll be closing on it on the 20th. So.
I'm going to share a non-real estate related one, which is actually very apropos for tonight. So about 2 weeks ago, my son looks at me, he's playing on his iPad, goes, Zach, I have money for the iPad. I said, why don't you go out and do some work for it? Okay. He gets up, he goes outside, puts his shoes on, and boom, he's gone. And he said something about mowing lawns. I was like, oh, okay, but the garage door's still closed, my lawn's there, where's he going? Anyways, he's gone. All of a sudden, my wife and I, Cassandra and I are talking to each other, and we get a knock on the door. Go see who it is. The neighbor, is it okay if you get the little lawn guy, that's yours, right? Yeah, he wants to mow my lawn. Is that okay? He's 8 years old. We're like, well, yeah, okay, sure. We have to show him how to start the lawnmower, and I obviously have to. He went and knocked on every single door on both sides of the street, and then he started going around the block. So he's got about $140 so far.
He may be onto something. Ryan didn't talk about it very much, but that was one of Ryan's businesses when he was 5. He would actually hire older kids to mow lawns. He would charge $40 and pay the kids $25 and he'd keep the difference. Okay, so actually, so can you pick the winning card here?
Jean Wallet.
Jean Wallet. So Jean, you are the winner of the coveted OREIO Cookie Award. You notice that it's spelled correctly now. Okay, where did my agenda go? Okay, last announcement, and then we will break for the evening. And isn't that amazing? We are on our agenda to the minute. I'm impressed. So next month, barbecue. As you know, in July we hold a barbecue instead of a regular meeting. It will be, instead of being at the Britannia Sailing Club this year, it's going to be at Cedar Hill Golf and Country Club. It's a better venue. They have air conditioning. And so we'll have fun there. We have a terrific speaker for the barbecue. His name is Ryan Malfara. There's a trend here, everyone who speaks at OREIO has to be named Ryan. And Ryan was the last person to win Polar Race. And you might say, well, what is Polar Race? Polar Race is a month-long, 350-mile foot race from Resolute Bay to the North Pole. Average temperature is minus 40 degrees. That's the average temperature. He has to consume 7,000 calories a day to stay alive. So Ryan is a terrific speaker. You'll learn a lot from him. It's not just about physical endurance or human heroics. There's a lot of business lessons in this that Ryan will translate for you from his experience. So come out to the barbecue. There will be registration set up. We will communicate you again by email with the details, and look forward to seeing you at the barbecue in July. It'll be July the 14th. And there will be no meeting in August. The next full meeting will be in September. And so that will be the second Monday in September again. Look for an email. If you're wondering what we're going to do on Thanksgiving, because the second Monday in October falls on Thanksgiving, we'll get together with the executive. We'll figure that out. It'll probably be on a Tuesday night that we'll announce that as well. Okay? Have a great evening, everyone. For those of you that want to keep networking, there'll be networking here. If you want to hang out at Monkey Joe's, I know a number of you will be heading over there. I will not be there tonight because I have an early morning flight to New York. But have a great month, and look forward to seeing you in July on the 14th.